Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a bit of a strange concept. I was thinking as I was piling all my palettes in here from unpacking, as I have just moved, I was inspired by Too Much Tosh to have a makeup tracking spreadsheet. So I track certain product categories every time I use something, and I did this all of 2020. And as I was putting palettes in this drawer, I realized I didn't use this at all this year, as this was in 2020. And I was wondering how many of my palettes I didn't even use a single time in 2020. And it turns out there were 20 of them. So today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 20 eyeshadow palettes that I own that I did not use in the year of 2020. These do not include new palettes, which I did share in my makeup drawer of shame video. If you are interested, those palettes I have never used before, and they are not included in here as they are in the bottom drawer. This is my new in makeup drawer, and I shared all of those with you previously before I moved. So these are all palettes that I have used and decided to keep in my collection for one reason or another, and then didn't reach for them at all in 2020. Now 2020 was obviously a very hard year, and I did not wear makeup all that often. Sorry you can hear the kids being extra loud. My goodness. First up, I have my Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I do have one pan in here, and if you watched my deck of panning how-to and intro video, you will know that I will be working on this year to hit one more pan. This is my very first high-end eyeshadow palette that wasn't even fully in frame. There we go. I did not use this Buff collection by Pure Cosmetics. This is a dupe for the Naked 3. I also have a pan in this palette. It's very beautiful, these rosy toned neutral shades, but I'm going to not say every single time I didn't reach for it at all in 2020. I'm just going to share what the palettes are. Now I have a list in front of me. I'm going to try and kind of go in the order of that list so things are not super confusing. I did reach for this one. The Pure Soiree Diaries palette. Again, I have a pan in this palette. I feel like because I have pan in these, I worked on them so much in 2019 that I just needed a break in 2020. I'm not really sure. I also didn't do my makeup all that often. Next on my list is the ColourPop Semi Precious palette. This is an 8-pan all shimmer palette. I actually haven't used this much at all, like since I've owned it for a couple of years, which is a shame. Oh crap, I forgot one palette upstairs, which is the Winky Lux Kitten palette, as that got pulled in my whole collection project pan intro, so I don't have that one here. I forgot it. The Pretty Vulgar Nightingale palette, this got pulled in pan those eyeshadows, but in 2020 I didn't use it at all. My Tarte Tartelette Toasted palette, this is another palette I worked on a lot in 2019. And it's not my favorite. I feel like it fades on my eyes quite a lot. The Crown Fuego. I love this warm tone neutral palette. This is a great summertime palette for me, but I hardly wore makeup at all in the summer especially. Next on my list is a smaller palette. This is the Blink Electric Eyes palette. Again, worked on it all of 2019 and was unsuccessful in hitting pan on that shade there and just needed a break. But these shimmers are incredible. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This is the first high-end palette that I bought for myself, like the first one that I invested my own money in. The ones previous to this were gifted to me because that was before I could justify so much money on makeup, as I was a university student. The Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. This is my oldest palette in my collection, along with the Walking on Eggshells trio. I bought the 2 of them at the same time while they were on sale. The Studio Makeup On The Go eyeshadow palette. This is the Cool Down one. Beautiful taupey purple shades, but this is not cruelty free. The Naked Cosmetics Urban Rustic Trio. Another one that I worked on in 2019 and then put away for a break. Crown Glam Metals. I love these grungy shimmers, but the only matte is this terrible black shade there. The Pure Cosmetics BoxyCharm Collab Palette. This isn't my favorite. I think this is one that someday I would probably be able to declutter, but I would like to use it more before there. Then these 3 peachy shades, one's a matte, one's a satin, one's a shimmer, they all perform basically the same. Maybe now that I have more room I can start stacking some up here. The ColourPop Zodiac palette. I really love these colors like individually on their own, but this is not a very cohesive color story, so I find it hard to reach into. The Ace Beauté Grandiose palette. I found this one faded on my eyes, but the shades are so pretty I couldn't bring myself to declutter it at the time. The Suva Beauty Protégé palette. I really like this one. I just feel like you get 2 looks out of it and that's pretty much it. There's these purpley cool tones and then the warmer toned look. Very beautiful, but just kind of limiting. Great for more of like an everyday type of palette. The Huda Beauty Electric Obsessions palette. I loved this in the summer of 2019. I used it a ton. And then I just never reached for it this past summer. And lastly, the last palette that is in this part of my makeup collection that I did not reach for at all in the year of 2020 is the Violet Voss Essentials palette. I tried to pan this cream shade at the end of 2019 and again it just got put away for a break. But I really do love this palette. I like the quality of it and hope to reach for it more in 2021. So those were the 20 palettes I did not use at all in the year of 2020. I'm going to be tracking my usage again this year and hope that number goes down significantly. I think I want to do this type of video annually, and then obviously if a palette appears in 2 years in a row, then it definitely needs to be decluttered. I know you guys know I have a hard time decluttering my makeup. I just view it as wasteful. If no one in my life wants it, then it will just end up in the trash and I don't feel comfortable with that. Let me know what palettes you would like to see me make a priority. These are all of the eyeshadow palettes in my collection that are not currently in projects. Those are all upstairs and I was using them. Are there any palettes in your collection that you did not reach for at all last year? I would love to know in the comments, or if I'm alone in this. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!